I know melt in your mouth is a cliche, but it's a perfect description for this meat. Best meat in the house. Baotou has one of the biggest economies in Inner Mongolia as it is a major industrial center. Baotou means place with deers, which might sound hypocritical to some because of the bad rep of steel and mining in the city. They still remain pillars in the local economy, but greening efforts has been emphatic, and we were astonished by the greenery. The same can be said of Hohhot and Ordos as well as the roads in between. We came to Baotou from Hohhot, and on the road in between them, we stopped by the Whaddaya Lemmery, which sits at the foot of lush mountains. 顺利抵达 arrived safely. Let's go see Whaddaya. Whaddaya means Maitreya Temple in Mongolian, and is a Tibetan Buddhist monastery that played a key role in the introduction of Tibetan Buddhism in Mongolia. It is also well known for having preserved a plethora of murals, which are not allowed to be filmed, and a combination of beautiful Mongolian, Tibetan, and Han Chinese architectures. Too bad the weather wasn't as beautiful. By the time we arrived in Baotou after leaving Whaddaya, it was late in the afternoon. We didn't have any lunch on the way, but fortunately, Shangri-La Hotel's Horizon Club includes happy hour. We were pretty happy because it was a meal with a view. Got a free meal and a great view. If you're interested, watch the full video. The lounge overlooks a downtown park, and on the second day when it was sunny, we saw people rehearsing for the then upcoming 100th anniversary of the CPC. In the past many decades, Bao Steel is probably the biggest corporate name to come out of Baotou, but for common folks like me, another name might be even more familiar, Xiaofeiyang, Little Sheep. So behind me is the main store of Xiaofeiyang, Little Sheep, which made history as the first Chinese hot pot brand to go public. It was actually founded in Baotou, although most people just associated with Inner Mongolia instead. So we're gonna have some shuanyang rou, or instant boiled mutton hot pot tonight. But we're not gonna try Xiaofeiyang because the shops are everywhere. I've had it numerous times in different places. So we're gonna check out a different brand instead. So we're about a click away from Shangri-La at a residential area. And the brand that we are going to try tonight is called 快乐小羊, Happy Lamb. I guess this company is from Baotou as well, but they adopted a different approach. Instead of going local, they went international first, and then they came back. Oh, and you can see behind me, Sunfeng, one of the biggest courier brands in China, an industry pioneer. And so, oh yeah, this 快乐小羊 store is massive, a lot bigger than I thought. And let's see what's inside. What's inside this humongous place? A horde of happy diners for one. We waited for almost an hour and people kept coming. So what's the secret? How does Happy Lamb keep customers happy? Why did locals I spoke with recommend this hot pot brand? Freshly cut lamb is definitely one of the main factors. Let's check out their meats up close and personal. How do you know the lamb is not frozen but freshly cut? If the slices don't fall off, and no double-sided tapes involved. These little discs are 星级羊上脑. 上脑 literally means upper brain, but actually refers to chuck stick in beef. So 羊上脑will be akin to lamb shoulder and or lamb neck. The slices peel right off the board, just as smoothly as post-it notes. It is widely believed that if the mutton sticks and stays on a plate held vertically, that's an indication of good quality. However, some have pointed out that being able to stand up and not slide off only proves the mutton wasn't injected with water and doesn't say anything else about quality. A general term for this kind of freshly cut meat in mutton hot pot is 手切羊肉 or hand-cut mutton. That's in contrast to frozen meat sliced using machine. This yang shangna requires boiling for 15 minutes, so after the 7 minutes sand glass emptied twice, it's go time. The meat didn't melt in my mouth, but as the strip of fat melted, it gave off a rich, buttery mouthfeel. Absolutely fantabulous. 星级羊上脑, star-rated lamb chop, a 5-star performance in my book. It'd be a crime to not finish the rest. And then 静候羔羊前者肉, super thick lamb foreshank. The foreshank was sliced into strips instead of round pieces. Since this cut of meat also takes a bit of time to cook, I decided to go all in from the get-go. Lamb shanks are known to be lean and tough due to constant usage by the animal. This is why lamb shanks are most often slow cooked, and the slower the better. After boiling for several minutes, the outcomes were ever so slightly chewy, but not sinewy in any respect. Some of you might be wondering, didn't you say 涮羊肉 is known as instant boiled mutton hot pot? But 15 minutes don't sound instant. And those of you in the know should have noticed by now the absence of the iconic chimneyed pot with plain water. I must admit that it was I who thought Happy Lamb is a restaurant for 涮羊肉 instant boiled mutton. But honestly, I didn't see Happy Lamb branding itself as such. Actually, 快乐小羊 prides itself on innovating this mode of eating with carefully crafted soup base and without any dipping sauce. So we got 来对照一下啊，近一点。This is the lamb foreshank, which is one of the two hand cut options. Lamb foreshank again. So it has a little bit more fiber than the lamb shoulder and lamb neck that we had before. We got some in the mala pot. And then we also got some in the tomato pot. Hand-cut lamb shank. I guess for the 涮羊肉 purist, Happy Lamb could only count as some type of mutton hot pot, but not quote-unquote 涮羊肉. However, I did see a number of Baotou local reviewers, as well as folks from Beijing, where 涮羊肉 is a local culinary symbol, referring to Happy Lamb as instant boiled mutton hot pot. And we did order some mutton that can be boiled and readied in an instant, like this 西林静音大片羊, elite slices of Silingo mutton. What is Silingo? I spoke a bit about this in an earlier video. Local driver for next day's journey to the volcanoes said that the best lamb he has had were those from Silingo League, because Mongolian onion grows abundantly on the Silingo prairie there. Happy Lamb also claims that they use such lamb, specifically the renowned Sonnet breed, native to Sonnet Banner in Silingo League. The quality was apparent in all the meats we ordered, but most notably in this 黄金羊王 Golden Lamb King. So this is the 黄金羊王 Golden Lamb King. The server called this the best meat in the house. And as you can see, the meat is paper thin and it's almost transparent. I'm gonna put this in a pot for about like 10 seconds. And it's done. I know melt in your mouth is a cliche, but it's a perfect description for this meat. Best meat in the house. 黄金羊王 Golden Lamb King. Fine meat fit for a king. Actually, Sonnet lambs were supplied to the imperial courts during the Yuan, Ming, and Qing dynasties, and today this famous breed enjoys geographical indication status. You could tell by the thinness and uniformity that these were cut using meat slicer. However, while most machine-cut mutton are pre-sliced, the ones at Happy Lamb are cut on demand, so I reckon these could be considered freshly cut as well. Whilst browsing over their proud display of sliced mutton, I also spotted skewered mutton next to electric grill. How could we pass up 羊肉串 roasted mutton skewers? We were missing the smoky scent indicative of a charcoal grill, but everything else was excellent. We were happily surprised by these skewers from Happy Lamb. We weren't expecting a hot pot place to pervade roasted meat of this quality. Reminded me of Changying Sanshongdi, a true instant boiled mutton hot pot restaurant in Beijing that also served superb skewers. We're done with our first dinner in Baotou at Happy Lamb. I guess it's not the most traditional 涮羊肉, but we're pretty happy with Happy Lamb. So we'll see what comes up next. 再见.